Hello YouTube and welcome back to Fire Gaming Project. So in this short video, I'm finally going to be doing my very own Yae Miko review video. I know all the bigger streamers obviously have already done it, but I only just recently leveled it up to a certain point where I can feel comfortable to want to show her off. So yeah, it's not really a show off video, let me just make that clear, but it's my review of it. So here we go, let's get into it. So make sure that you guys are subscribed if you haven't already, and please make sure that you guys hit that thumbs up and like button to help the algorithm. Thank you guys so much, and feel free to leave me comments. Did you guys get Yae Miko? Did you guys go for her Kagura's Verity? Did you guys win the 50-50? I hope you did though. I was lucky, as you guys saw in my polling video. She's the third consecutive uh, limited character that I've gotten over the last 3 patches without having to go heavy and deep and without having to really spend any money really other than the Welkin and the battle pass, the regular battle pass. That's all I did, and just save up the event wishes. So let's get to it, shall we? Yeah, so you'll notice that when I switch to her, she's going to have this buff because I'm using the Witsith on her, and we'll talk about that. So let's get to it. Okay, so I left her at 89 out of 90 because I'm currently farming her friendship. She's the last character in my whole roster of all the characters I own to obviously get to friendship level 10. All the other characters have it already, so that's great. I'm leaving her at 89 out of 90, not because I'm going to bring it up to 90 through companionship, but because there's no reason to waste all those resources now. So it's going to be just a little bit off. Anyway, these are her stats. They're not the greatest. I do want to point that out. I am trying my best to refarm some artifacts for her to get her crit rate to be over 50, but it's pretty close, okay? So, but I would like to get it as high as possible, but it's hard because, as you know, there's RNG and all that stuff, and we'll get into it. Her crit damage is 204, her energy recharge is 145. Again, this could be higher too. Ideally, her energy recharge should be like 150s, 160s, possibly even higher than that if you can get it to happen. And then electro damage is the choice that I made. Okay, so as I mentioned, I gave her the Witsith. This is currently and has been tested by other bigger streamers. The Witsith is still her best 4-star catalyst. The other options are the free Oathsworn Eye, which is from the current event, Three Realms Gateway in Enkanomiya. I have not even started that event yet, so I don't have it, but I've already previously talked about it in my early analysis video, pre-release analysis videos, and it's going to be a really awesome universal weapon that many catalyst users can utilize, including herself, and it's going to be great, okay? Despite the fact that its design was meant to be I guess in conjunction and aligned with Kokomi's overall style with the coral and the seashells, it is actually meant to be that style because it's found in Enkanomiya. It's actually not because it's meant to be specifically for her. It's for any Catalyst user. Anyway, that aside, let's get to it. So the Witsith is going to be, again, her best because all three of those passives, as I mentioned before, in my other videos, pre-release analysis, is that this is likely her best, and it is, because it has, especially at high refine 5 and level 90, all three of those passives would apply to her and would make her really strong. Other players and streamers have already tested it out. The Lost Prayers is not bad for her, but because she's more of an off-field DPS, at least that's how I use her, I swap her out. So then she may or may not get all the full stacks of the passive to maximize her damage. But this is still good if you do enjoy using her and leaving her on the field, or if you're okay with putting this on her and then like staying before entering the battle. That's okay too. Dodoko's health is okay because she does enjoy attack percentage. In my earlier builds of her, I did give her, and I'll talk about this in the artifact section, I did focus on the Emblem of Severed Fate, but I changed it later to the attack focus build. So she's actually built similarly to how Shenhai will be built. So yeah. Anyway, a Dodoko Tails would be okay. However, it requires charge attacks, and basically for the passive, and she's not going to really utilize it, unfortunately. Solar Pearl is arguably another great option, and many other bigger streamers have already talked about this. But Solar Pearl and Lost Prayers are both pretty good. But Solar Pearl, because the passive is more sustainable, it's just normal attacks, for elemental skill and burst damage increase, or vice versa. So then this is pretty much more sustainable. But then whether or not you use her normal attack, that's a different story. So hence, I still prefer the Witsith because I don't use her normal attacks. Sacrificial Fragments, although she does have one constellation that tells us that she can scale off of Elemental Mastery, it is not worth it, in my opinion. That's just more like a nice to have. It's not meant to be a major role game changer or player in her kit, so I would not recommend focusing on Elemental Mastery. That goes for Sacrificial Fragments and the Mapamare. Um, I would not recommend using her as a support, full support, where you just switch her in and out with Thrilling Tales, like how like I use Kokomi or Barbaro in that sense. Some people use Lisa in that sense too, and Sucrose. That's fine, but I don't recommend using Yae Miko in that way because there are other Catalyst users that can utilize the Thrilling Tales better than her in that sense. Because Yae Miko has a more sub DPS and can be a DPS role and support DPS. Yeah. Okay, so again, we're talking about the Widsith. We got that. And then Favonius Codex is fine as a placeholder because she does need energy, and that goes the same for any of the energy recharge weapons, including the Oathsworn Eye, where the passive is energy recharge. That's always a welcome for her. Like I said, mine is already low in terms of the stats. Unless you have a battery character, so that's okay. Hakushin Ring is also not a bad weapon. People have compared this, and this was perfect because I waited, and now I did refine this to level 5, and therefore I crafted it. I'm okay with it. I don't regret that because there was a chance where this could have been better than the Oathsworn Eye. So basically, what I've gathered from the other bigger streamers out there who spent more time and money in the game, they basically concluded that the Hakushin Ring at level 90 R5 is comparable to the Oathsworn Eye at R5 and level 90. So therefore, I'm not going to build this now because now that I know that and I'm okay and comfortable with just believing that, um, then I'm just gonna stick with the Oathsworn Eye when I get it, and it will be level 90 anyway because of the current event discount of 1.5 times the experience. So definitely I will level that up, and then that will be my basically version of this that I will keep. So now this will just stay here. This is okay as a niche weapon for I would say Kokomi, and people have tested it out on Sucrose and Mona as well, so that's okay. And then Lisa, you could consider using that on her too if you build her that way. So I'll just leave it at that. So just in case anyone wanted to follow up, this is the follow up of this for my pre-release analysis with the Oathsworn Eye. Frostbearer is not recommended for her. I don't even have it built up. I only have one copy anyway. Blackcliff Agate is definitely another option that's viable if you don't have the Widsith at high refines or don't have the Widsith at all. At least the Blackcliff weapons, you can get them from the Paimon shop. And you can eventually get them to R5 if you're willing to. The passive is not sustainable, especially when you're fighting a boss because you have to kill an enemy to get the bonus. So I would just say this is a good placeholder for the stats only, and that's not bad. And it does look, the color-wise, it does follow her color scheme. And that's about it for the weapons, so we'll leave it there. And then those other healing weapons, like the Prototype Amber and the Everlasting Moonglow for Kokomi and all those other ones, I'm not going to go into those because those healing ones are not for her, obviously, because she's not a healer. Okay, so with her, I did the two double attack pairing, so the two Shimenawas and the two Gladiators, to maximize on her attack percentage. So she's built similarly to Shenhe in that sense. And you do want to focus on her crit rate, crit damage, energy recharge, and attack percentage. Constellations, mine is C0, obviously. Most of my my 5-star characters are C0. Her C1, I'll go over it quickly though, is meant to be good for her because it's supposed to give her more energy particles, and therefore that will help with her energy issues. C2, she'll start at level 2 when she does her E, basically, for her totems, her fox totems, and then their attack range is increased, basically. So it's actually really good. It increases her attack damage and her level, and also the range, which is pretty good. C3 is plus 3 levels. C4, when the lightning hits opponents, then the electro damage of all nearby party members is increased. So this will only buff other electro characters. Okay, C5 is plus 3 levels, and C6, people did already get annoyed and pissed off online already, and I will be honest, I saw some of their comments and their videos and their posts about this. They were annoyed that her C6 is technically considered her best constellation here, because this will allow her to ignore 60% of the opponent's defense, which is a really big, defense shred. But in order to get to C6, only the mega whales can do that, and that does not include me. So good luck to you guys if you're willing to do that. All right, talents. So don't mind the extra 1 level here. It's because Child is in this level because we will be fighting the Fire Flower, essentially. So that's why. I just want to use Child to break the shield. So again, I don't use her normal attack much, but it's a nice to have. So I did level it up to 6, but you can leave it at level 1 if you don't plan to use it. Her E and her Q are arguably her best source of damage. You will end up using her E more often because the cooldowns are really short, and you get 3 of them, and you're supposed to create ideally a triangle shape, to get the best amount of damage. Okay, enough said, basically. That's pretty straightforward, right? And then it has different levels of stacks and stuff like that. We won't talk about, I'm not going to read this, but basically that's how her E works. And then her Q is actually a pretty decent, sizable amount of damage. It's not as high as other characters' Q bursts. However, it's pretty good still, and it can have additional thunderbolts if you have these on the field. So your best way of doing this, your routine for her, is actually to lay out three of them, and then to lay out three of the E's, right, the totems, and then to hit the Q and let the Q basically explode them and destroy them. Because for every one totem on the field, she hits another lightning bolt that comes down, basically. And then after that, it resets the cooldown for these, and you can technically go and just lay three more again and wait for her and then swap her out, because then she won't have enough energy for another Q right away. Unless you have that much energy recharge, of course. Okay, then this passive talent is when casting her Tenko Kenshin, Sakura, basically each of her totems, once they're destroyed, they reset the cooldown. This is exactly what I just said. So after you use her Q and destroy them, then it can be reset again. So that's good. And this will be unlocked, I believe, at Ascension level 5 out of 6. And then this one, so level 70 out of 80. And then this one, every point of elemental mastery that she possesses will increase her basically her totem damage by 0.15%. Again, this is a nice to have, but you shouldn't go too heavy and too deep into elemental mastery. It's going to be nice if you have those as your substats, though. And lastly, this one, she has a 25% chance to get one regional character talent material, base material excluded, when crafting, and the rarity is equivalent to that of the base material. So, for example, if you're crafting a silver book, which means that your base material was the brown books, the green background one with the brown, because different people refer to them differently. So the silver books are the ones that have the blue background. Then she'll just get another possible random green one back as a refund, but it's a 25% chance randomly you'll get another one back, but it may not be the same type. Yeah, from the same region. So Inazuma, Mondstadt, or Liyue. Alrighty. In terms of team compositions, I'm teaming her up with Raiden Shogun as a and for energy purposes, and for the elemental resonance. But technically, you can team her up with other electro characters or just any other battery characters. I just did a Fischl video if you want to check that out. But Fischl is a really good electro battery, or just a battery in general, so that's good. So definitely, you would like to team her up with a battery. If you can get her to be more self-sufficient with her own energy recharge high, then that's preferred as well, of course. And in this video, I will be using, of course, Child and other characters here, only because I need to break the shield there. So I'm letting her buff wear off, as you can see. And then I'm going to shield. And then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to break the shield, yes. And then I am going to switch to Yae Miko and let her finish it off. I will not need to switch to Raiden Shogun in this case, because I feel like Raiden Shogun can do it really well already. So they have good damage there, the totems. And then I'm going to lay this out, as I said. And then I'm going to lay it out again. And if you wanted to, you could you can just continue laying them out. Like, she definitely is decent. She can hold her own. But I will say, yes, depending on if you can build her up like high enough, she may not be able to kill it right away, but she is decent, okay? Just so we're clear, I can show, like, using her other things. I didn't level it up that much, as you can see. But her animations are smooth. Just as an aside, though, I want to make it clear, though, I do not think that she's a must-pull character. Like, she's fine and all, but she's not a must-pull character. So she's definitely nice to have, but she's not a must-pull character. I like her sassy attitude, though, and her characterization, personality, and how she's basically kind of evil, because she is a fox demon / fox deity, fox spirit, whatever you want to call, right? I know not all fox demons are evil, of course, but in her case, she's kind of semi-evil. So anyway, I do like her. And how does she stack up? This is a good other side thing that I want to mention. So I like her more than Shenhe. Both of them are really good characters, but at least with her, you can use her on field or off field. Shenhe, you more likely just use Shenhe on off field, more or less. And similarly, if I was comparing her to Itto, I actually liked Itto's gameplay more, because I'm more hack and slashy. See, she's more like, yeah, so I don't like the off-field characters so much. I don't mind them, but I'm more hack and slashy. Yeah, so that's just my own personal playstyle. So that's just an extra aside information there. She's definitely not a must pull. I've already said this in previous videos as well. And her Kagura's Verity is definitely not a must pull either. It definitely kits her out for sure. If you love her, definitely go for it. But like I said, Widsith is good and Oathsworn Eye are also good. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. Did you guys pull for her? Do you guys like her? Are you skipping her? Did you guys pull for the Kagura's Verity or are you skipping that? If you have her, what weapons and artifacts did you use for her? And just to talk about that too quickly, Emblem of Severed Fate is also a viable option. I did have that on her first, and then I had to rebuild her with the 2 attack focus sets. So just so we're clear, Emblem of Severed Fate in itself is pretty good too. Alrighty, I'll leave it there. Please feel free to reach out to me and leave me in comments, and feel free to join my Discord server. The link is in the description, and we can talk more there about Genshin or other topics. Alrighty, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next